I shall call in the vacancy of our president. I will begin the meeting, calling it to order at 3 o'clock. Put your right hand over your heart and we will say the Pledge of Allegiance. In the vacancy of our president, I will begin the meeting, calling it to order. In the vacancy of our president, I will begin the meeting, calling it to order. Am I hearing a reverb?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, what happens is that when we listen to meetings, if we're playing the meeting, we can't listen to the meeting on the same machine from the agenda, because what happens is it plays with the 5-second delay.
Okay. So what do you want me to do?
So that generally you have to look at that through a separate machine, because otherwise it broadcasts all the sound. Okay, but yeah, go ahead, Ed, with the pledge and continue. Forward we go.
Okay. We pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will call the roll call. We have a vacancy in our presidency. Vice President Carolyn Tillman is here. Secretary Valerie Lichtman.
Yes, I'm here.
Board member Dr. Thomas Renard.
Here.
Board member Jennifer Grant.
I think she's muted.
Can she unmute? Secretary.
Yeah, but I can't turn the volume off of my computer, so I'm going to mute it for right now.
Oh, we were talking about Jennifer.
Jennifer.
Oh, sorry.
Did I hear her?
I think she's still muted.
Well, tell her again to push *6 to unmute.
There we go, I think.
Oh, the woes of virtual meetings.
Oh, God, I'll be glad when they're over.
Yes. So is Jennifer there? Can we? Has she figured it out?
It looks like she's trying to connect
Okay.
to the audio.
Okay. And staff liaison Ed Erzsébek?
Yes.
Okay. At this point, we are open for public comments for items that are not listed on the agenda, and I understand that we have a recorded comment.
So you're going to have to play the message.
All right. Yes, I'll play the recorded comment from our last meeting when meeting was interrupted by technical difficulties in January.
Okay.
Four new messages. New message 1 from Nicole Randall, 2:31 p.m. Tuesday, January 19th.
Good afternoon. My name is Treasurer Ortiz, and I wanted to leave a public comment for the library board special meeting today. I wanted to address the board in their discussion about unfunded projects that they're going to take recommendations to the city manager with regarding their budget. And I asked that the board really look at a recommendation for a percentage amount from the new Measure S funds coming up. The allocations of departmental budgets are completely unequitable. And where the library board has a 7% cut that is equal to one salary of a lieutenant at the police department is unacceptable. We have to start investing in the future, in education, in our library system so that we don't need to funnel $85 million into public safety. So we're not creating criminals and giving them an opportunity as young children to prosper. So I really, really hope this board can take charge. Otherwise, the funds from Measure S will not go to fund the library. We know that we have a huge pension obligation that is going to soak up most of this money, and unless the council makes critical and necessary actions on behalf of budgets for departments, we're not going to get anywhere. So please push for everything you need. Ask for 5% of the estimated $27 million that's going to come in. Every library should be open. Everybody should have access. Your hours should be extended. The only way that we're going to move San Bernardino forward and change the livelihoods of residents and our students. Thank you.
To repeat this message, press 1.
Thank you, Ed. The comments are duly noted by the board. Now, Milton, you have a public comment?
I do. I sent Ed a letter of resignation, although I'm not sure that's entirely appropriate since I was sort of ousted by virtue of having moved out of the city. And Ed can share that letter with the board, but I wanted to thank each of you personally for me and my quirky leadership and for, more importantly, the hard work that you've done. So I started my service on the board in 2005, but I started my obligation to the library in the 50s, when as a young boy, I walked to the library from my home. And that association with the library and with books really led to a successful career in higher education. And so what we do as a board, what you do as a board, is so vitally important to the young people of our city. And I just wanted to urge you to continue that really important work. And though I'm no longer on the board, I certainly care deeply about the things that you guys do. And I wanted to thank you and to encourage you to keep pushing for the library. So, and with that, I will get out of your hair for a while and just wish you all good luck.
Well, we wish you good luck too. I hope you like your new location.
Thanks, Val.
Don't ever get out of our hair, please.
Right.
Drop from time to time, Milton. Believe us, we have truly enjoyed and embraced your leadership. It's been a great role model, I know personally for me, and it leaves quite a big shoes to fill here on this board. I don't know when it's going to be appropriate. Ed, maybe you can help me with this, because COVID season keeps us from being able really to celebrate Milton in the way that I do believe he should be celebrated. I don't know if the city council would like to put together a certificate to present to him for his service to this community and to this board. And I know that perhaps even individually, we'd all like to either send a card or a note to Milton just to give our personal testimony and to give our thanks for the work he has done. And Ed, if you could help us know how this is done, we certainly want to follow through on that.
Okay, I'll look into it, see what I can do. And thank you, Dr. Clark, for your leadership over the years. And let us not forget, recognized by the California Library Association as the Trustee of the Year in 2017.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
And those are things that should go into his certificate as well.
All right, you guys, I'm going to take my leave and I will see you all again soon, I hope.
All right,
Take
thank
care.
you.
Okay.
Thank you, Milton. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ed, are there any closed session items
No.
we have to address? Okay. Let's that, then shall we look to the approval of the minutes?
Yes.
I show that we have to approve minutes from September 15. Did we do some of this before we?
Well, we did, but since it wasn't visible to the public, we need to do it again for the.
Okay. So we have, should we begin with the September 15, 2020 minutes?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any corrections? And one of these, Ed, I wasn't sure which one of these am I absent on that I should not vote on?
I believe it was October that you weren't here, that you were here
Okay.
in September, but not here in October.
Okay.
Well, I'd like to move to approve the September 15th minutes.
Valerie, I note that. Is there a second? Can I get a second?
I'll second it. Am I muted?
I can hear you now. That'll be seconded by Tom. It has been moved and seconded. The all ayes, please?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any nays or noes? Hearing none, then we will file the September 15, 2020 minutes as approved. The October 2020 minutes, are there any corrections?
I didn't see any.
Tom or Jennifer, any corrections?
None. I move that we accept the October, is it 15 minutes?
It's October 20.
October 20.
Tom has moved. Is there a second?
I will second it, Val.
Val seconds.
I think Jennifer's still muted.
Is there any way we can get her unmuted?
I think she has to do it from her end.
Yes, I think she does.
Can someone send her a text?
Yeah,
or
I
something?
am. I'll send her an email. I hope she sees it.
Okay. Or I don't even know if she can add it to the chat, her approval.
Well,
to the
she should
chat
be able to send it to the.
or otherwise.
She could.
Good old fashioned technology.
Oh, brother. That's a pain.
Because you're the only three that can vote on that. Shall I move to the January 19, 2021 minutes?
Yeah, yes, so since until we can, assuming we don't get a response.
They're
I move.
they're very brief.
Right. I move to
Thanks,
approve the
Tom, for
January
moving.
19th minutes.
Tom moved to approve. Can you give me a second, Val?
Sure, second. I didn't hear Tom.
Okay,
Sorry.
Val, this is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Am I hearing you, Tom?
Aye. Aye.
And I'm myself. So those are the January 19, 2021 minutes are approved for file. As soon as we get Jennifer back up, please remind me to get her vote on October 20, 2020. And now we can go
Okay.
to the library director's report. Ed?
Hi, everyone.
Are you there, Ed?
Yeah,
Hi.
I had to step away from the desk because someone was at the door.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, okay.
Well, we're basically continuing like we were the 16 hours of service at the 4 libraries for books to go, essentially, to pick up and to go, either books reserved either by computer or by phone. And then one bit of good news is we did get the ropes for Ingram. So the issue of requiring signups to enter there has been replaced by the ropes. So that's been well received by the staff and the public. So we're glad to have accomplished that. And that's basically it as far as what's new. Of course, we have the statistics and the budget that we can go through. Yes, sir.
I see on the library snapshot that Feldheim and Ingram are open 16 hours a week.
All 4 are open 16 hours.
All 4. Okay,
Yeah.
then that's a misprint on what was distributed to us. And I'm just curious, is that 4 days a week?
4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., the same at all 4 libraries.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, I see. I see in December, it has a 16 in each of them.
Yeah, because essentially Row opened in November and then Ingram and Via opened in December.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously it's still relatively slow given the circumstances. The Overdrive ebooks and audiobooks have been doing well, so those have been pluses. And then library budget, of course, now we're into February and a good 2/3 of the way through, so the budget report that we have there reflects that.
And I'm just curious,
Yes, sir.
are we keeping all the staff on board?
Full-time staff are here, only part of the part-time staff given the limited operations.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
I have a question. Is there any discussion from the city at all about when things may open longer? I mean, or not today?
Well, I mean, it's taking it week by week, day by day. I mean, for a while things were, even tighter. Now the restrictions have been eased somewhat by the state. So I continue to look and see what the city is doing, what our libraries are doing locally and statewide, and we'll go from there.
Can you hear me now?
Yay!
Hi, Jennifer.
Hi.
I was on, but I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me, so I went to my laptop.
Great.
All right.
Welcome, Jennifer.
Well, okay. What are some of the other libraries and cities doing? Is there any of them providing more services or not?
They're providing, in some cases, they're providing a little more service and allowing people in a little bit, like an hour at a time or so. Like I said, I'm continuing to evaluate what we can do, given the circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
But most of them are still have restrictions as far as number of hours a day, days a week of service, trying to limit capacity and usage to like an hour at a time, and so on and so forth.
Ed, do they report as to how that's going for them?
The general consensus is still, of course, that usage is still slow given the circumstances. Both
Well, sure,
not as many people wanting to come out and go in places and that.
Okay. Very good.
Any other questions on the director's report? Since Jennifer can communicate with us, did we want to jump back to the October minutes?
Yes, I wanted to go back there. Jennifer, if you could look at the October 2020 minutes, and then I can get a motion, and I can get a second if.
I heard you, and
Okay.
and I give a second. I
Okay.
heard what you were talking about.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Okay, so let me just, for clarity's sake, who moved for that motion to accept the draft minutes?
I think it was John or Val.
It was Tom.
It was Tom.
It was Tom, and I think I seconded it. Yeah.
And then Val
Okay.
seconded. So can I hear all those who approve?
I.
All ayes, hearing no nays, then we will file the October 2020 minutes as well.
All right.
All right. We will now move forward into the election of board officers.
Okay.
Ed, do you have any advice for us as we move into that?
Well, according to the city's guidelines of its bylaws for boards, commissions, and advisory groups, we're supposed to elect officers in January, and of course we have a vacancy anyway, so it's probably a good time to have our elections. In the past, we had elected a president, vice president, and secretary. Since these bylaws were revised by the city, essentially we just need a president and a vice president. We don't need a secretary, since essentially I sign as a staff liaison.
Okay. So at this time, I will open the floor to nominations for president.
Well, Carolyn, I'd like to nominate you. You have a lot of experience here.
We'll see, won't we?
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other nominations for president?
Well, I agree with Val. I nominate you.
Okay. If there are no other nominations, then is there anyone who would like to move?
I move to approve the nomination and without objection, the election of Carolyn.
Thank you.
I
Beth.
second it.
That's been seconded by Jennifer. All those who approve?
Aye.
Aye.
And any noes? Hearing none, Carolyn will move to the vacant position as president. We'll see whether or not you all were wise in that decision.
We're confident.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, which now leaves the position of vice president vacant. I would like to now open the floor to nominations for vice president of the San Bernardino Public Library Board.
You want to be vice president?
If I may, I would like to nominate Valerie Lichtman to that position.
Second that?
Yeah, okay. If you need me, I'll do it.
Absolutely. Are there any other nominations from the floor?
No.
Hearing none, then I would like to hear a motion to approve Valerie Lichtman as vice president of the San Bernardino Public Library Board.
I'll move.
I second.
Tom, I hear that you move, and Jennifer has seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? No, hearing none. Valerie Lichtman, welcome to the role of Vice President for San Bernardino Public Library.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Carolyn and Val, for your service, and thank you to everyone.
Well,
Okay.
we stand here to support you, Ed, in every way we possibly can.
Yeah.
Item number 6 is the library unfunded needs for fiscal year 21-22 budget. The recommendation is to approve a recommendation to give direction to the library director for the library's unfunded needs for the city's fiscal year 21-22 budget process. Ed, would you like to add anything to that?
Sure. Well, the city's budget process actually started for the mid-year of 2021, back in December. And then we submitted some broad outlines. Now, of course, it was realistic that even though the city had a little more money, it has so many pressing needs. And then tomorrow night, the city council and the mayor will review the city manager's recommendations for mid-year and a review of the city's finances at mid-year. And actually, among the items I cite here under item 2, facility improvements, they actually have a couple items for mid-year tomorrow night, assuming that it gets the support of the mayor and council based on the city manager's recommendation. Those include replacement of security cameras inside Feldheim and improving Feldheim exterior lighting. So hopefully those will be approved tomorrow night. And then we're also, of course, working for the budget for 21-22. So looking toward that and kind of what the guidelines of what things I've done in the past, like I said, the city is expecting to have a little more revenue, of course, with the tax measure. Tax measure actually takes effect April 1st to go from 1/4 cent sales tax, to 1 full cent. And then the city will actually start collecting July 1. But of course, there's so many needs among the various departments in the city, but at least when I try to get an idea out there to the city manager among our needs. So among the things that I'm working on in broad categories would be, of course, more public service hours, both for Feldheim and the 3 branch libraries, which would require an increase in both full-time and part-time staff, along with security guard and utility costs. Second broad area is facility improvements. In addition to the 2 that hopefully will be cited tomorrow night, would also be interested in trying to do some reupholstering or replacing of chairs and tables at Feldheim, possibly resurfacing and restriping parking lots at Roman Villaseñor. Actually don't have it cited here, but also the roof at Villaseñor could use a replacement. And then the 3rd category is technology. Also looking to work in conjunction with City IT. As you know, the foundation replaced our computers in 2015, but probably within a couple of years or so, we'll also need to start looking forward again, as computers only stay at the top level for 6 years or so, and then they begin to see their better days. So again, I want to try to get on the map at least for replacement of computers in the public, for the public especially in the next couple of years or so, and then would ideally like to add in some early literacy stations. And also talking about we have a library van that we use to move books and materials among the 4 libraries. And that's probably from the late 90s, so it's more than 20 years old. So those were some of the broad categories I was thinking about. Although, of course, any suggestions that you have will be of interest as well. Also, kind of how the budget process will go. There is a Measure S committee that will look both at reviewing how funds are spent and also in looking at the city's goals of how to spend the money. And then, of course, the city council is the ultimate people in charge of spending of the money, along with the mayor and following the city manager's directions. So as usual, any advocacy through public comment to the council could be a benefit as the public servants of the community. So as the city's budget process evolves through the spring, I will keep you apprised of budget hearings and budget meetings at all. So that's my basic overview, although I'm willing to entertain any questions.
Thank you, Ed. Ed, with regard to the Measure S funds, am I clear that you're saying that you have considered that some of those funds will be used on these projects?
Well, library has been cited as among those that could benefit, but of course there's so much competition and so many needs from the city with needs both in personnel and in capital. So, the potential is there, but obviously there's many needs.
And can I just inquire, during the process of seeking the electorate's votes, was the library mentioned as?
Yes, the library was cited as one of the areas.
And I think for me anyway, I think that we should, because the library was one of the reasons that these funds were approved by voters, that we should, be very bold about requesting those funds that would serve for these projects that we need as well, because I think it is of great importance that the public faith be seen in that the library does see some of those funds.
Right.
Yes, I would agree with that wholly, because I think you have to keep bringing it up to the city that this has happened, because they would tend to forget.
Yeah, so city council meetings, as you can well imagine, are at Zoom at this point, and then at every meeting there's public comment, and essentially if people can make, public can make comments at any meeting, even if the item isn't on the agenda, because there are comments received on items both on the agenda and not. And then of course, like I said, there will actually be specific meetings related to the budget as we go into the spring. So
right.
So keep that in mind as you think about what.
And that would probably, when you're having your conversations with the friends of the library and the foundation, and remind them that they may also feel free to make that request at meeting.
Right.
Okay, do I hear a motion? Or is there any other conversation related to item number 6?
Yes, I wanted to ask if it would be appropriate to make a motion that 5% of Measure S funds go for library services.
Well, I think that's pretty good. I mean, I think that rather than leaving it wide open.
Well, our motion is, the recommendation is to approve to give recommendation and direction to the library director. So we can say that as part of our recommendation, part of our directions to the library director is certainly to look at those.
Yes, and then again, if you want to cite that when there are the meetings of the Measure S committee and the meetings of the mayor and council, to make those points, because essentially our amount of funding comes from the mayor and council, and but obviously, so essentially it's up to them. So it's also helpful if they hear directly from the board as the public servants as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, so when will they be discussing this, do you think, right away or not yet?
Well, I'll give you the dates when there's meetings specifically related to the budget of that. But like I said, you can make comments at any council meeting.
Right.
You can leave a phone message at any council meeting. because it's never too early to get your thoughts out there.
Okay, that sounds good.
Generally the meetings are the first and third Wednesday of the month. For example, there's a meeting tomorrow, and then I can send you. They usually require comments to be in so far ahead of time. If you want to leave a phone comment at the meeting, I can kind of send you what their general guidelines are.
Okay.
Thank you, Ed. Any other comments? Hearing none, who would like to make the motion?
I'll make the motion.
I motion.
Okay.
Okay, Jennifer, what is your, would you like to put that in language for the record?
That we should leave it up for us to make the comment to the party that's in concern about the Measure Z.
Can we state it more directly to what is written there?
To the recommendation.
And give direction?
Yeah. Yeah, the recommendation for the budget, approve the recommendation given direction to the library to for the needs. Did I say that right?
Can I get a reread on that formally, please?
To approve the recommendations and giving directions to the library director for the library unfunded needs for the city.
Okay. Okay, using that direction, it's been moved by Board Member Grant. Is there a second?
I'll second it. It's Val.
That's seconded by Board Member Valerie Lichtman.
Can you restate the motion, please?
Can I have it read, please?
You talking to me?
Nicole,
I'm talking to Nicole.
Oh.
You need it. You need the motion read back?
Yes, please.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, the motion is to approve the recommendation and give direction to the library director for the library's unfunded needs for the city's fiscal year 2021-22 budget process.
Okay, and we have a motion
by Jennifer Grant and a second by Valerie Lichtman.
Okay. It has been moved and seconded. Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
What are we specifically giving Ed direction to? In other words, I'm thinking of the public comment that we heard at the beginning. Will he be advocating for 5% of Measure S funds to go to library services?
Well, I think really ideally, I think that recommendation really should come from the board to the Measure S committee on the city council. I have the broad goals here of improving library service, but since the amount of funding really comes from the mayor and council, it may actually be better for the request of the 5% to come from you people directly. Now, you could say that you talked about it as a group amongst that you're in agreement as a board, but somebody needs to advocate too, probably the council and the Measure S committee.
So you mean, when you say advocate, do you mean that we should actually call them up or email them?
Leave the public comments essentially like Ms. Ortiz did.
Okay.
So as I understand it, what we are doing is we are giving direction to Ed to create that budget, but also that budget we're recommending that budget is created, not being shy of requesting funds that exist in the Measure S budget.
To get a
What
piece of the
He
Measure S
can't,
pie.
he cannot demand those funds directly, but we can advocate for those funds.
Right.
For the library by either leaving public comments or encouraging other citizens to leave public comments to ensure that the Measure S funds are also given to the library. Is that my understanding?
Okay, and it should be in particular since the measure mentioned the libraries in its passage, right?
And we could say that in our public comment.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Okay, with it being moved and seconded, are you ready for the vote?
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do I hear Tom?
I think Tom is muted.
Unmute yourself, Tom.
I wasn't muted before. Aye.
Oh,
Okay.
It goes off and on. Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Hearing none opposed, then we will forward our direction to Ed and wish you the best in your preparation process, Ed.
thank you. Thank you to everyone for your support. And then the next item, holiday schedule, which pretty much follows our standard holidays, and that when the city holiday is Monday, we're closed the Saturday before. So this is pretty much what we do normally throughout the year, but I just wanted to get your seal of approval.
Okay.
So move.
That's moved by Valerie. And is there a second?
I second it.
Seconded by Jennifer. Any questions? Hearing no questions, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No, none opposed? So we will adopt the new library holiday schedule for 2021.
Thank you.
It looks like we're at the point of adjournment. Is there a call? Motion?
So move.
It's moved by Valerie,
I second it.
seconded by Jennifer. That was a quick meeting. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Hearing the ayes and none opposed, then we are formally adjourned at 3:43 p.m.
Very good.